So in this section we're going to start creating the backgrounds in the scene. There's going to be quite a few backgrounds to the scene, so because it's going to be broken up into many layers, so we're just going to look at the first part, which is the back left mountains and coastal part. Again, I use Pinterest a lot, and I've gone and saved a lot of coastal scenes here which give me inspiration, and pretty much what I'm looking for here is one of Amalfi in Italy, and that's kind of what I'm looking for, some cliffs with some roads on it. So let's go and create another level here. I'm using Krita here to paint. You might be using Krita, you might be using Photoshop or something else. I'm just creating a new level here on Krita, and I'm just cutting and pasting all this reference material out of here. Let's pick another one. That one there might be useful for the harbor scene where the boat comes in. So let's get that. And that might be enough for now, just the 4. So let's just resize them, crop them, and then save them and go back to our blank canvas, and we can start painting here. I want the cliffs, etc., not grey. I want them to be a sandstone, which is slightly brown. So it's going to be a browny sandy color, and we can just start sketching out our coastline here. And the thing with these backgrounds and backgrounds in general is, unless your scene is going to be otherwise, you want them to be very wide. I often make the mistake of making them too narrow, so I just increase some width here, especially in this case because the scene is going to open from far back, so you're going to see a very wide shot. So, and this is only half. This is the left part of the coast. There's going to be a right part as well, which is going to be equally as wide. So it's going to be a very wide shot. And so I want my canvas to be wide enough, and then I just build this up. These are browns. I'm adding some highlights, just trying to keep it in a muted tone, some shadows and some highlights from the light. The light's coming from the right there, so just keep that consistent. And so the shadows are falling to the left, and we're just building up the rocks here. We might come back and drop some beach behind it, but that's our basic layer there. And then we can name that first layer back, and then let's just resize this canvas. I need to draw some mountains in here, so we need it to be a bit higher. Let's go back and look at that Portofino one, that Amalfi one, and that's basically what we want, but not in those colors. So we want quite steep cliffs behind this. Let's go and drop the color down a bit. It was too brown. We want it more sandy, and we actually want more height. So let's just go and resize this canvas and give it more height. And then we just paint these mountains up. Painting rocks and cliffs like this, very pleasurable. Scrap that. And then on another layer, we can start putting in some vegetation. We can go and use some special brushes for this. Krita's got a small selection. You can go and create your own, or go and find some new brushes. I don't use this too much, but this brush here has leaves on it, so just if I get the sizing right, it just gives that broken look, and I'm going to come over it and just flatten it down a bit. I don't want it looking too broken or too bitty, if you want to call it that. It's very small, so I want to come and knock that back a bit at the end. We can drop in some different shades here to give it a bit of shadow and a bit of light. Remember, the light's coming from the right, so just keep that consistent. Put some fir trees up here, these beautiful trees that you get in the Med. This scene is going to be set in the Med. It's not important whereabouts. Could be south of France, could be Italy, probably not Greece, somewhere in the Med, but it's going to be a generic scene. So we're just going to, you get a lot of these trees, these beautiful trees in the Med. So let's just go and copy and paste a bunch, and also take them out. You don't want them to be, you don't want it to look too regimented. And then we can go back to the layer behind it where we're building this mountain, these cliffs, drop in some shadows. With shadows you want to drop in big blocks. You can always come back and put some highlights in them. The shadow parts, try and be a little bit bolder with. That seems to have a good impact. It's a little bit more graphic, but it seems to work, especially with mountains. So I'm dropping in some light parts here. You can hardly see it. We're going to come back with a much lighter level here and drop in some highlights over this rock, and we're just really building this up, this mountain. I really enjoy painting rocks and mountains like this. It's very relaxing. I think probably because it's very easy in a way. Your palette is very limited. We're only using 4 colors here, and also it's light from the right, shadow on the left, so it's very simple and it's actually quite relaxing. So if you want the full version of this, please go check out my Animating with OpenToonz course. The links are in the description. And of course, if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And if you'd like to sign up for the newsletter, please go and do that. Otherwise, thanks very much for joining my channel again, and I hope I'll see you around here again. All the best and happy animating out there.